Good morning, my dear students. Welcome back to English time. Have you read the story? Yes, you have read the story, and you wrote that all side question answers very good. And I know that you are very curious to know that last part of the story. Okay, so let us go to the end part or last part of the story. Okay, so where do we stop? Yes, we stopped where Polya was waiting for her husband, because now one thing is there in her mind. Every day she waits for her husband very happily, but today it is different. She is waiting for her husband with what? With a sad thought in her mind, and also she cannot express the same feeling to her husband. Why? Because it is a problem. Okay, so now she is going to observe her husband very closely to make it sure that whether he was in a in a connection with another woman or not. Then when he returned, Polya did not let him know that anything had happened. When he returned, Polya did not let him know that anything had happened. Then when he returned, yes, Polya did not show that something happened, which means what? She got a letter and she is very sad, and she got a doubt that he was in love with whom? Another woman, and that thought is there in the mind of whom? Yes, Polya, but she did not show this type of feeling on her face. Every day, same with the same behavior or with the same gestures, she received her husband. On the contrary, in a calm and even voice, she told her husband that she had nothing against doing a little studying, and that she was fed up with being an ignorant, illiterate peasant. And what was her response when she saw her husband at the evening? No, on the contrary, on the opposite, what happened? No, in a calm and even voice. Actually, she should get angry, and she should quarrel with her husband by showing that letter. And also sometimes there is a chance for a fighting also. But here what? There was nothing, no problem. Then what did she say? No, she told her husband that she had nothing against doing a little studying. She said what? No, she had nothing against doing a little studying. She said, I have no problem with studying. I am ready to study. That I am fed up with. I am fed up means I am tired. I am tired with what? No, being ignorant. I am ignorant. I am ignorant. I am what? I am what? I am what? I am fed up with what? This all ignorant life. I don't know how to read. I cannot what? I cannot read anything. I want to learn now. Ivan Nikolaevich was overjoyed to hear it. Then what? Ivan Nikolaevich was overjoyed. Overjoyed means what? She was very happy. Who was very happy? Who was very happy? Yes, he was very happy. Ivan was very happy. Why? Because he expected, he has been expecting such a answer from her wife for many years, or after his marriage, or after becoming a successful officer, he was waiting. Okay, that is just fine, he said. I myself will teach you how to read and write. And yes, Ivan doesn't know anything about this letter and all. He said, but no, very good, fine, a very good decision. I am very happy. Then if you are ready, no need of any other person to teach you how to read and write. I will teach you. Like that, who said? Yes, who said? Ivan himself said. All right, go ahead, said Polya as she stared fixedly at Ivan's clipped little mustache. All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Okay, let us continue, said Polya as she stared. Stare means looking fixedly. She looked fixedly on whom no her husband's clipped little mustache. Clipped means what? Cutting, after cutting, he made his mustache very beautiful. So what? So he was what? He was very. He has a very attractive mustache now. So then Polya said, okay, go ahead. I will find out your foul play. Okay. Then by saying this, she said yes. For 2 silent months, Polya studied every day. For 2 silent months, Polya studied every day. Daily. Without any rest. Yes, Polya studied every day. She patiently put together the words. She then here Mikhail explaining how one studies how to read and write. How it is now very nicely he explained. She patiently, very patiently, very with the patience, he waited and put together the words. How do we learn how to read and write? We learn how to write letters, then learn how to write words, and then how we make sentences with these words. That is what the process now. So that one, even though she is aged, the same for procedure she has to follow. So she patiently put together the words, learned to form the letters. At first she learned to form the letters and memorized sentences, and she memorized, and remembered all sentences. Every evening she took the treasured letter out of the cupboard and tried to find out its secret meaning. Then every day after learning one letter, she in the evening, in the absence of whom? Yes, Ivan, she secretly took out that letter and tried to get the meaning of that letter, but it was impossible to get the meaning of a sentence by reading letters, 1 or 2 letters. So she waited, but it was no easy job. Was it an easy job? No, it was not an easy job. If you learn letters, at first you will not be able to learn or understand the meanings of the sentences. You may be able to speak, but you will not be able to write and understand. Okay, so she doesn't know what is written in that word letter because she is illiterate. So what? Every day after starting to study, learning how to read and write, she checked whether she was able to read that letter or not, but it was not possible at first 2 months. It was the 3rd month before Polya learned how to read. It was the 3rd month before Polya learned how to read. 3 months she took with that hard work. One morning, when Ivan Nikolaevich had gone off to work, Polya took the letter out of the cupboard and started reading it. After 3rd month, she was able to read and write. Then very happily. At the same time, she was very sad in mind. She was going to find out the secret behind that letter. So she took that letter and went to and sat and was going to read that letter, and then only she will be able to understand the content of that letter. And what is there? Pain is there in her heart. Why? Because it may be, if it is a love letter, then what? There will be a quarrel between Polya and Ivan, and that will end in a divorce. So okay, it was hard for her to understand the small handwriting. It was hard for her. She is a new newly learned, newly literate woman, so it was not possible her to read that sentences very easily. It was hard for her to understand the small handwriting, but the slight scent of perfume from the paper pushed her on. But the slight scent of perfume from the paper pushed her on. When I discussed about that word, that letter, she took that letter and opened that page and unfolded it, and and it was a perfumed letter. I told you there one important thing is there. Such perfumed pages were used by whom? Women, not men. So only from that, yes, what perfumed paper, she understood it was written by a woman. That is what very important. Okay, it was written. That letter was written on a perfumed page, and at those days, such a perfumed paper was used by whom? Yes, women. That's why she understood it was a letter from woman. Sometimes it may be from a male person, but it was not from a male, it was from a female. How did she understand? Yes, because she got it. She got a paper which was perfumed one, which means from that she understood. Otherwise, she was unable to read and write. How could she know it was a letter written by whom? A woman. The reasons we can say it was with a nice handwriting, clean handwriting, and perfumed paper was used. These both telling that what that was written by a woman. By observing that, she reached in such a conclusion that it was written by a woman. That is why she thought what? Yes, her husband was in love with another woman. Okay, so now 3 months passed. That perfume is not still there. That much perfume is not there on that paper. Okay, so slight smell is there because 3 months passed, but that smell compelling her to read. Why? Because that smell only compelling her. Why? Because that smell shows that that is written by a woman. That's why I said what the slight scent of perfume from the paper pushed her. That slight smell from that what letter compelled her to read it. Why? Because that only made her thought that it was a letter written by woman. The letter was addressed to Ivan Nikolaevich. So that letter is given there. What is that now? Dear friend. Dear friend, whom we will salute like this. We will use this type of an addressing. We will address to only our friend. So here that letter addressed to Ivan by using dear friend, it started. I am sending you the book I promised. I am sending you the book I promised. I promised to you a book that I am sending. I think that your wife should be able to learn how to read in 2 or 3 months. Then what? I think that your wife should be able to learn how to read and read in 2 or 3 months. I know this book is very useful. Within 3 months, your wife will be able to read and write. Learn how to read and write. Yes. Promise me, old boy. Promise me, old boy. Old boy means with love, with friendship, that is selling. That you will make her do it. I think you will make her do it. You will teach her. Explain it her. Explain to her. Make her feel how disgusting, how shame it is to be an illiterate woman. Then that woman saying, but no, it is what disgusting means. It is very shame to be a illiterate woman. So you tell her, your wife to learn how to read and write by using this book. Make sure you don't forget to teach her to read and write Ivan Nikolaevich. Then make sure you don't forget to teach her how to read and write what? Yes, Ivan Nikolaevich. Then very funny way who is telling who is with greetings Maria. Maria telling what now? Teach your wife Polya how to read and write, and first of all you have to teach her what now? How to read and write what? Ivan Nikolaevich. At least you have to teach your wife to read and write what? Ivan Nikolaevich. In such a funny way. Just you teach your wife to write what? Your name. Your husband, no? So you teach her. Like that who said? Yes. So can you say this is a love letter? No, this is not a love letter. This is completely a letter written by a friend to another friend. Who misunderstood it? Polya misunderstood it. Then what is the result of that misunderstanding? Whether it was positive or negative? Yes, it is positive. Why? Because it changed the life of whom? It changed the decision of Polya. Polya read this letter through twice. She read it twice. Why? Because she wanted to make it sure that it was only a letter from a friend to another friend. Then pressing her lips together sadly. Then she pressed her lips sadly. Means what? She cried. She cried. And feeling somehow secretly insulted. Feeling somehow secretly insulted. So actually it was an insult because what? She misunderstood her husband. She burst into tears. She misunderstood her husband. She thought her husband was cheating her. He was an educated government official, and he is what? He is in a connection with the educated lady, and he was going to divorce her like that. Bad thoughts came to his mind and her mind, and she was going to what? She was going to quarrel with her husband. She misunderstood her love. Whose love? Is her husband's love. Even though he was an literate, and even though he has become an government official, he was not ready to divorce her wife. He was a faithful husband, we can say, but she misunderstood. Okay, so that is this story. She cried. Why? Because she misunderstood. It was a fault of her. He was very. She is the luckiest wife in this world. Why? Because she has one husband who is Ivan Nikolaevich, who is very happy, even though her husband or his wife was illiterate, but he told her or compelled her to learn how to read and write. It was only his wish, just to wish to becoming his own wife, a literate woman, means it was good for her. That's why. Okay, so that is the story. I hope you understood this story, and it was an interesting story. Okay, so you can find out all side question answers and write it down and send me. Okay, thank you.